way that brings equity, inclusiveness, diversity to creating our solutions, and to do so in a way that is safe and secure for the globe and for the world. We are very honored to be here with such a, I am very honored to be here with such a distinguished delegation. You will hear from some of the chairs of our committee, and we'll acknowledge them at that time, but I also want to recognize other members of our delegation, members who have served on the Select Committee on addressing the climate crisis and other leadership roles on climate over the years and sustainability. Congresswoman Susan Bonamici of the state of Oregon, Congresswoman Veronica Escobar of the state of Texas, Congressman Jared Huffman of California, Congresswoman Espela of New York, Congresswoman Shelley Pingree of Maine, Congressman of Oregon, again Oregon, Earl Blumenauer, Congressman Sean Casten of Illinois, Congresswoman Nanette Barragan of California. Again, the members will introduce, and you'll hear from them, they're chairs of our committee, people who have worked hard and long and taken the lead on these issues. It is a special joy for us to come at this time because the Congress of the United States a couple of months ago passed legislation that was so historic in terms of its vision, in terms of the amount of money committed, and in terms of the hope that is given people. Since we came here, the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, has been the source of much positive conversation. We've spoken to people at the grassroots level. We've talked to the president, the foreign minister. We've spoken to leaders from around the world, parliamentarians from around the world. And there is a recognition that the Inflation Reduction Act has made a significant difference and will make a significant difference. When we have spoken about climate, we've talked about health care. And this legislation is about that, health care, in a way that is just and fair. We talk about green, good-paying jobs in a way that is just and fair and inclusive. And we talk about, we talk about security in a way that we improve the situation to prevent vast migrations, competition, and conflict over habitat and resources. And we talk about our values. If you believe as I that this is God's creation and we have a moral responsibility to be good stewards of it, then we agree. And even if you don't share that religious view, we all know we have a moral responsibility to our children. So I'll close by just saying this. As we have discussed these issues for decades, many of us, it's always been about survival of the planet, survival of the vulnerable countries and the rest. We want more than survival. We want more than success. With our IRA legislation, we have crossed a threshold of transformation. We want it to be transformative in the lives of the American people as we use that technology that will come from that, but also share that with the rest of the world. We know there's much more that needs to be done. But what we accomplished with the Inflation Reduction Act was something that has never been done before in our country, nor any other country. So I salute our president because it was part of his agenda addressing the climate crisis and about justice and fairness and inclusiveness and diversity and how we go forward. It was contained in our rescue package that we passed, contained in the bipartisan infrastructure bill, $60 billion for diversity and equity, inclusiveness. It was in the CHIPS Act in terms of research and science and STEM and education for everyone, diversity, again, inclusion, equity, fairness, and all the legislation that we passed, even our Veterans Bill, which is Veterans Day, so I want to particularly acknowledge that, which ended the burn pits cross that our soldiers were bearing. So in every way, the president has said, when we do this, we want to do it right. And to do it right, we have to listen to those who are affected the most, whether it's the vulnerable nations or the vulnerable people in our own community. So I salute the president. And I also want to salute Kathy Castor. Kathy Castor is the chair of the Select Committee addressing the climate crisis. The report that her committee and many of the committee members are here, the report that they put forth was historic, and it was the basis for the Inflation Reduction Act. I yield to Kathy Castor.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathy Castor of Florida, the chair of the House.